Hello, everyone. Welcome to. I'm not going to say welcome back because we've had a slight name change. Welcome to new branded the Centre Spotcast. Now, lads, that took me quite a lot of brain power to say the right name there. Um, the reason for the name change is that I was just browsing YouTube when we uploaded our last episode and saw somebody else has already got the name of the Centre Circle podcast. We don't want to step on any toes, so we've just changed it a little bit. But yeah, still the same rubbish opinions, I'm sure you probably think. But hey, we are here today to talk about the last 16, guys. Yeah, obviously been really exciting group stage. And yeah, I can't wait for these rounds to get underway. First of all, though, Ryan, you're back. How are you?
Very well, thank you. A bit tired, but delighted to be on here again.
Perfect. Toby, all good, mate?
Yeah, doing absolutely fantastic. I am still in full "it's coming home" belief mode, so let's get it on.
Ah, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Perfect. So yeah, we'll get straight into it, guys. We're recording this in the afternoon of the 26th of June. So we are recording this before the first game kicks off. And that first game is a home nation, guys. It's Wales versus Denmark. Ryan, who have you got to win this game?
Well, it's an interesting one because I was reading an article about, I can't remember which Wales player it was, saying that 95% of the world is going to be against them for this because of what happened to Ericsson. And I feel like it's going to be Denmark, I think, on paper, are the better team. But I think Wales have shown that they'll dig in, they're quite strong physically. So it's arguably, I think, one of the toughest to call because I think you've got two very even teams. But I think, unfortunately, I think you kind of have to just go Denmark because they've just got such class in their team. But saying that, I think if you're looking at one player who can change the game, it is Gareth Bale. So I'm going to say a 2-1 Denmark win at the moment,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Cool. Yeah, no. Obviously, agree with what you say about Wales. They always seem to dig in and get a result when they really need to. And obviously, in knockout games, you have to get a result to go through. Everyone knows that. So yeah, I think we could see a really tight game. Really exciting game. Toby, what are you thinking for the Wales Denmark game?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be a close encounter. I think it'll be cagey. Um, I think, as Ryan says, the whole world is probably going to be with Denmark, obviously off the back of what happened to Christian Eriksen. Personally, I'd like to see a home nation go through. I'm not sure if I share the same opinion across England, but I do like seeing the home nations do well, and also it would mean an easier draw for England further in the tournament if we need it. Unfortunately, that's not what I've predicted. I've predicted 1-1 with Denmark winning on penalties. Like I said, I think it'll be
Okay.
really cagey.
Aha, so the first game will be our first penalty shootout then, Toby.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. Awesome. To be fair, as a neutral, I love watching a penalty shootout. So I'm hoping for a few. Yeah, I just find them so exciting. Hopefully England don't go into one because all know the Germans always win on penalties. Um, I've actually gone. So I think it's going to be a cagey affair. Don't get me wrong, but I've gone for a Denmark win. 3-1. I think it's going to be 1-1 probably up until. So they're both going to score, I don't know, early on. Um, and then it'll be really cagey. I think Wales will give it absolutely everything and just tire off. And I think Denmark have the quality across the pitch to do it professionally and to stay in the game and to stay, obviously, with their energy levels, keeping them at a relatively good level to go to the full 90 minutes. So I think Denmark towards the end, maybe in the last 10 minutes, will just get 2 goals. So they'll score to make it 2-1. Wales' heads are going to drop, and I think Denmark will get another to make that nice and comfortable for them. So yeah, So what was that? Two Denmark wins and one Wales win was
No, it was a Denmark
sorry,
win
did
on
you say
penalties.
Denmark win on penalties. Sorry, yeah. So all of us predicting Denmark to go through. So yeah, going to be interesting. Obviously, I'd love to see them go through. Obviously, for the whole Christian Eriksen story. I was actually in a barber's yesterday, and I got a very weird look because I said if England don't win the Euros, I'd like Denmark to win it, and he was like, "Why?" And somehow forgot about the whole Christian Eriksen thing. But hey. Moving on, guys, we have another game later on today. Italy versus Austria. Ryan, what are you thinking for that one?
Well, I think Austria are probably the most unnoticed team that have managed to get through so far. I think not many people have really paid attention to their movements at the moment. However, Italy, I think it's now 10 games without conceding or something like that, over 1,000 minutes. I predicted them as my winners, and I'm going to predict them as my biggest winners in this part of the competition. I think it's going to be 4-0, maybe 5, but I think 4-0, a brace for Immobile. I think Austria are going to hang in for about 20-25 minutes. Italy are then just going to carve them open, floodgates are open, and it will be an easy stroll into the quarters.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree that Austria have been not a surprise package because they do have some class players in their team, but maybe a team that you thought, okay, these guys could actually test the Italian side, but obviously, Ryan, you think Italy are just going to blow them away. They have been a team that are that that sort of scary in terms of they could just turn up and beat you 3 or 4-0. So yeah, I could see that happening. Toby, do you agree? Do you think Italy are going to go through?
Yeah, Italy have looked really, really impressive, and I can't remember the exact number, but they've got a crazy record under Mancini so far. Unbeaten I think it's double digits of games as well if they've kept a clean sheet in 10 of them anyway. So yeah, I can't see past an Italy win. I haven't got them blowing Austria out the park. I've got it as 2-0 to Italy. I think it's realistic, but I also think it's close. I think Austria will show some heart, but at the end of the day, I just don't think they're going to be able to score.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I think Austria, as you say, are going to show some heart, and I don't think it'll be a complete walkover like Ryan thinks at 4-0. I think Austria will actually score. To be honest, I think it's going to be Italy's tightest game so far. I've got it down as a 2-1 Italy win. Don't know what you lads think of that, Ryan.
You look at Italy's defence. I think you look at which team. I think that you're looking at it. Belgium and Portugal. I think they've got the likes of Lukaku, Ronaldo. I think they're going to struggle to score, let alone Austria. I think they're a good team. They're a solid outfit. Again, I think Italy. I think when Italy win heavy, which is what I'm predicting, it won't be devoid of pride for Austria. I think they'll go out, they'll give everything. It will be a dignified performance. But I just don't see how they're going to break Italy down. I don't see who they've got that's going to do that. At least with Belgium, with someone like De Bruyne, you just expect Belgium to score no matter who they're playing. You don't get that from Austria. And I think it'll be a spirited display, but I just cannot see them troubling Italy at all.
Yeah, fair enough. Toby, obviously you had it down as Austria not scoring. Do you think, obviously you don't think they're going to score, but do you think that there is any chance of an Austria goal?
I mean, there's always like a random corner or free kick routine that can catch Italy off guard, but I just think that Italy defence is so strong that although it won't look like they're being troubled, I think it's just that Italy are just so good at not conceding. And it might look like Austria are toothless, or their fans might be upset that they're not attacking enough. But really, I think that's just the work of the Italy team that just stopped them getting to any meaningful opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. Solid from back to front. To be fair, Italy, aren't they? And their work rate this tournament has been just unbelievable. I think that's what could carry them really late on into this Euros competition. So that's another unanimous decision there. So we've all got Italy to go through. We've all got Denmark to go through. hopefully we differ on a few of these. I'm sure there's going to be some controversial opinions somewhere, Ryan. So yeah, next we've got Netherlands versus Czech Republic. What do you think, Ryan?
You talk about predicting shocks. I think this is the Czech Republic's, and let me explain why. I think the Netherlands' defence has looked weak as water this tournament. I think, remember the match against Ukraine, conceding too late on, and the fact Netherlands have relied on scoring more than they've conceded. There were times against North Macedonia where they looked incredibly vulnerable, and you're going, if they're looking vulnerable against North Macedonia, what will happen when they take on teams that can actually take their chances? And I think Czech Republic have shown enough that they're resolute at the back. I think with the likes of Patrick Schick, I reckon they've got enough attacking threat to trouble a very meh Netherlands defence. And so I reckon it's going to be a 2-1 Czech Republic win after extra time.
Okay, so an extra time win there. Toby, Czech Republic winning, do you think that is a possibility?
I can't agree. Although the Netherlands' defence has looked really shaky, Netherlands are the sort of team where, if you score 4, we'll score 5 sort of team, especially how they are at the moment without Van Dijk. I think if they had Van Dijk, then it could be a different story. But I've got Netherlands down for a 3-1. I debated Czech Republic. I think this is the closest out of the games so far, in terms of like actual team skill at this tournament, because I think Czech Republic have looked really, really good. So I think Netherlands have as well. But no, I just can't see past the Netherlands 3-1. I think Netherlands are in the upper echelon of international teams, along with, I'd say, about 10 other international teams. So that's what I'm going for.
Cool. Yeah. I as you guys have said, I think Czech Republic have looked really good at this tournament. When they've needed to, obviously they pulled off that result in Scotland. With Scotland, I have to give credit to them. They looked completely solid throughout. Obviously their group stage campaign. We struggled to break them down. Obviously, I think they'd just done a little bit too much hyping up their tournament. So obviously that Croatia result looks really harsh on them. But yeah, I think Czech Republic could give Netherlands a good game, but I don't see them having enough quality to even score against the Netherlands, to be honest. I've got Netherlands as winning 2-0. I think Netherlands, as you say, Toby, are in the upper echelon of the international teams, and I think they'll turn it on, knockout football. They'll be so much more solid at the back. They'll be switched on. And yeah, I can't see anything other than a Netherlands win. So yeah, we've got 2 Netherlands wins and a Czech Republic win. So that'll be interesting to see. Is that on tomorrow? Tomorrow at 5, I think. Yeah,
I'm not sure of the fixtures.
That'll be interesting to see whether Ryan's bold prediction is correct.
At least it's not Burnley 10th.
That's true. But I think towards the start of next season, that's when we'll give Ryan telling off for that. I think we'll spare him today. So the next one,
you're not giving a eulogy at my funeral, because that's all you're going to do. He was a kind man, but he predicted Burnley 10th. What a stupid man indeed.
Exactly, mate. That you got to think before you make these predictions. So the next one, lads, is a big one. I think probably the biggest game, except for the England game because we're English. Belgium versus Portugal. Ryan, who is going to have the bottle to win this game for either of these teams?
Well, I mean, it's the toughest game to predict out of all of them. I think it's difficult to dispute, because I think personally these are the 2 best teams left in the tournament at this point. And it will be a case of defences will go out the window. So I think you look at Portugal, their defence has been a lot less steady than I was expecting it to be when I predicted them to be most clean sheets. So there's that, and Bruno Fernandes hasn't been playing to the standards we've seen as well. But I just think it will be a case of, will the combination of De Bruyne and Lukaku, will they outscore Ronaldo? It will be goals, goals, goals. And I think that Portugal will have just about enough. And I think it'll be very harsh on Belgium, because I don't think they would deserve to go out. But I just think where there's a team with Cristiano Ronaldo in, you always have to sort of give them a slight nudge because of that. And I just think that with Portugal's quality, I think they're going to win it 3-2.
Okay, yeah. This is probably, as I think we've all said now, the toughest game to call. So I don't think there's going to be any disagreements if you go Belgium or Portugal. I can't disagree with a Portugal win. Or can I? We'll find out. Toby.
Yeah, I mean,
who's winning this one?
I mean, you look at what Ryan said. Ronaldo, Lukaku, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Jota, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, the array of attacking talent is just it's bewildering, really. So you might ask me, well, Toby, how have you got this down as a 0-0 draw? And that's personally because I think that the first knockout games, everyone's going to be nervous. Everyone's going to be, taking it easy, taking a cautious approach. I don't think that Ronaldo will do that. But what I've noticed with Ronaldo is that when he gets impatient, he drops deep, which really harms the Portugal team, I think, because he can do that at Juventus, he can do that at Real Madrid because he had a lot of world-class attacking players surrounding him, but most of the Portuguese world-class players also drop slightly deeper, like Bruno Fernandes, into the centre-attacking mid-role. So I think it'll be 0-0, go to penalties, and I think Belgium will win on penalties.
Okay. I can't disagree that I think that their defenses are just gonna step it up a little bit. As you say, Ronaldo could get frustrated. You've seen it so many times with him trying to win the game himself, and to be fair, he is good enough to win any game himself. So I can't disagree there. But I've actually got Belgium winning on penalties as well, Toby. We had it in our last video where we were predicting everything the same, and I think this is the first one we've got the same, but I've gone for a slightly different scoreline. There are going to be goals in the game. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think there's too much attacking talent for it to end 0-0. They're just going to score draw, and I think when it comes to penalties, especially with the quality that both of those teams have, it just comes down to pot luck and who's got the nerve on the day, and I think that will be Belgium. So yeah, another penalty shootout win. So just move on to the next one, guys. Another team that were in our group, Croatia versus Spain. Spain had a huge win in their last group game. This is own goal galore, isn't it? Did you see the own goal that Dubravka scored? It was absolutely comical. I don't think I've ever seen an own goal like it. Ryan, what were your thoughts on that first of all, and then just tell us who's going to win that game?
My thoughts first of all is it made Jordan Pickford feel better about that Merseyside derby incident, but it was just shambolic. He's facing the wrong way, and then he spikes the ball into the net. It's more confusing than anything, because you're just wondering why. But, I mean, they're out now, aren't they? So that's nothing for him to worry about anymore. But in terms of who I think is going to win, my prediction, I was trying to think, can I change it? Because before that, I had it as a Croatia win, quite clearly. But Spain, you've got to decide from that, when you're watching Spain's goals, did that come because they were class and good finishers, or did it come because Slovakia dropped their heads, felt like they had nothing to play for, and just allowed Spain onto them? And I think there's a bit of both, because some of the goals were technically very good, but would they have happened were Slovakia playing to their fullest? And so I'm sticking with it, and I'm saying a Croatia win. I think if Croatia can keep the ball, frustrate Spain, don't think Spain have enough to really hold out and then keep them out. I think the likes of Modric, Perisic now starting to come into form. Don't know if you saw some of the goals they were scoring the other day, and I think Modric will lead the team. And I'm going to stick with what I said before that match. Actually, I'm going to say 2-0 to Croatia.
Okay. Toby, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I agree with Ryan that Spain. I don't think that their result against Slovakia was pure skill or anything like that. I think it all come from the floodgates opening, Slovakia heads dropping, knowing that all of the hard work that they had done was undone by a silly own goal, really, because it really looked like they were still in the game until that point. Spain so far in this tournament have been frustrated by every team they play. Even against Slovakia, I thought it was majority of the first half. It was just being frustrated, not finding a way to score. I think Morata missed the penalty, and I think it was looking quite dire, really. Again, in their first two games, it was a similar story for the majority of the games. I don't see Spain posing much threat. And with a team like Croatia, who are much better than Slovakia, I don't see them conceding, but I also don't see them scoring much either. But I have gone for Croatia 1-0.
Oh, okay. So, both of you predicting Croatia to go through against, I agree with you guys, a very lackluster Spain. We know they won 5-0 in their last game in the group stage, but up until then they have looked so poor. I personally think as well that Croatia have looked poor this tournament. I know obviously they turned up against Scotland, but I think they turned up against a Scotland team that had absolutely nothing left in the tank because they gave it all against England, and they tried to give it all against Czech Republic. So I don't think any of these sets of fans, so the Croatians and the Spanish, I don't think any of them are happy with their performances at this tournament, to be honest, even though they both won their last group game. I think it's going to be a little bit of a lackluster performance from both teams. Both teams have a goal in them, there's no doubt about that. So I've gone for 1-1. It's going to go to penalties again, lads. I've got Spain to win on penalties. What do you think, Toby?
Yeah, if it goes to penalties, it's potluck at that point, really, isn't it? And I think you're right. I mean, I only predicted 1-0, so 1-1 is just as close. I think both teams are poor, as you say. So both teams' defences could easily just concede one sloppy goal, and then that takes it to penalties. But yeah, you can't really predict penalties, so it's bold of you to put the stamp on it. But I've done the same with other fixtures, so I completely understand.
Well, yeah, I think that the reason I've gone for a Spain win on penalties is I think there's just that little bit more quality in the Spain team to sort of compose themselves and get them through that penalty shootout. But when it comes to a penalty shootout, it's anyone's game. We could go up against Croatia in a penalty shootout and have every chance. I believe in my abilities, but yeah. The next one, guys, involves the team that I think every single person, except for us three, has predicted to win the tournament. So we've got France versus Switzerland. Yeah, Ryan, do you think France are going to turn up and perform at last?
Well, first of all, Joe, you've got more pens down than a girl's pencil case at the moment, so I'll leave you to that. I'm a big fan of Vladimir Petkovic, Switzerland manager. I think tactically he's very good and I quite enjoy watching his team. But then you've got to remember we're dealing with France, who are just France. And I think what France have, and it's the thing you see with the top teams, it has to be an attribute of the top teams. They win when they're not at their best. I think you look at Liverpool when they won the title a couple of years back. The amounts of 1-0s and 2-1s they managed to scrape through. That's what wins you titles. And I think France will. I mean, they've got Mbappe. That should be enough, shouldn't it? Just Mbappe. But I think in terms of the result, I think Switzerland will score. I think Shaqiri has now got the taste of it again. and I think he'll do it about 44 times until he scores. So I think Shaqiri will get on the score sheet, but I also think that France will rather comfortably walk away with it. So my prediction is a 3-1 victory for La France.
Cool. So yeah, obviously, yeah, France have so much quality, and yeah, I can see them scoring a hatful. To be fair, but we'll come on to that in just a second. Toby, do you think France are gonna run away with this one?
Yeah, I do. I think this is the most definitive scoreline I've predicted in the round of 16. I've put France down for a 3-0. I think Benzema started to find his feet in that last game with what was a quality finish into the bottom corner of the goal. I just think if France play like they did against Portugal, then it'll be easy against Switzerland. As much as I want to sit there and praise Switzerland because I think they are a good side on their day, it won't be their day, I'm afraid. So I'm putting France down as 3-0.
Cool. Again, Toby, stop copying my predictions, mate. Yeah, France, 3-0 winners. Yeah, I don't think anyone can disagree that France, in knockout football, are going to turn up, go up those couple of gears that we spoke about, and yeah, I think they're just going to be a little bit too much for Switzerland. Mbappe, Benzema seems to be finding his form. There's so many players as well in their team that haven't quite shown up yet, and I can't wait to see what a full swinging and dancing French team can do. Guys, on to the big one, the massive one. Is it finally going to come home? Are we finally going to beat Germany? I think it's since 1966 in a knockout tournament. England versus Germany. The big one. Ryan, please tell me it's coming home. Please.
Ik denk dat sehr wichtige Stunde. Sorry, no, it's not. And look, I want to support my country. I really do, but it's not happening. I don't think. You can show that to me all you want, Joe. You really can, but it's just.
Please put that in context. I was showing him my shirt, guys. Just put that in context.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing his shirt though. He wasn't wearing it like a normal person. No. But here's the thing. I think, and feel free to disagree with me on this, but I think the Germany wing-back or fullback, Robin Gosens, has been the shining star so far at the tournament, or the breakout star. And I think he's been excellent. And I just think that in terms of organisation, Germany, one of Germany's key things is putting balls into the box. They'll whip the ball in. And if it's Mings and Maguire, which I think it should be given who we're playing, I think that could really trouble them. But if they put in the low balls, fizz them across the back post, and I am going to predict it, even though Southgate knows how it feels. I think Germany are going to win it on penalties. I think it's going to be 0-0 up until penalty, and I think we're going to lose it on penalties. I hate to say it, but I just can't. That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh man, me and Toby are both shaking our heads dropped. Ryan, what have you done? I can't believe an Englishman's not back in England to beat them. To be fair though, I can see your point. I'm so scared for this game. I'm already getting a nervous belly. I can't cope with. I couldn't cope with watching us against Scotland, let alone bloody Germany. Toby, give me some hope. Please tell me. Right, we'll move on. Ryan, you told me it's not coming home. Toby, tell me, please, that it's coming home.
Oh, it's coming home, all right. It's coming home. Let me tell you. Let me write this story for you. So, if you had told me 10 years ago, Euro 2020 would be England top the group, Scotland bottom of the group. We beat Germany on our way to the final. We beat Netherlands on our way to the final after beating them 4-0 in Euro 96. And then on the way to the final, and then we win it. it would be the story exactly how I would write it. Exactly how I would write it. Every puzzle piece is coming together. Ryan's highlighted the threat of Gosens, but Gosens that plays on the left, I would argue, would be against our right-hand side, which I think is the strongest element of our team, hence why we picked 4 right-backs. I think that I see a 2-1 win with a 90th minute Harry Maguire header, and England fans get sent into raptures. There'll be beer all over the box parks, all over the fields of the country, all over the beaches. We'll be doing it, we'll be winning, we'll be singing, and it's coming home all the way.
Oh, that was music to my ears, Toby. If that happens, mate, I'll buy you your beers for the next 4 years, mate. Honestly, that would be a dream. I got goosebumps as you were saying that. Ryan, you were just before I go on to my prediction, you were shaking your head as Toby was speaking. What are you thinking?
It's just that's why we bought 4 right backs. We bought 4 right backs because Southgate likes mixing the defence around and playing fullbacks on the left. And I mean, I can understand why he's brought 4 right back, given that Chilwell and Shaw have hamstrings that are actually made of cheese strings. But I just think that he's trying to justify bringing 4 right backs because to deal with the right hand side, that's our strongest element. I think that's given the fact that Walker or Trippier have played most of the tournament at left back when they've played.
I mean, I've never seen Walker at left back. Toby, what's your comeback to that?
No, I've never seen Walker at left back either, but I think I'll say it as Gareth Southgate said it, and it's not 4 good right backs, it's 4 good footballers. And that's why they came, and that's why if their strongest position is on the right hand side and they're a good footballer, then we are looking safe and secure, as well as Harry Maguire and Stones in the box, just heading everything out. You said they were good at crossing Germany. I think that we have got the means to deal with a crossing team. Germany are toothless nowadays. I think I said last time we spoke about the Euros, Germany don't have a Mario Gomez, a Miroslav Klose. They don't have that anymore. They are toothless in attack. I honestly, they beat Portugal 4-2 with 2 own goals, I think it was. It's not going to happen. Football's coming home. The story is writing itself. Let's bring it.
That is a statement, Toby. That is a statement. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I think Germany have this tournament been such a strange team. They can beat Portugal 4-2 and then go and struggle against Hungary. That's why I think England can do it. I think England will win this 1-0. And I'm just going to drop my Brighton bias just for a second because I feel like Lewis Dunk gets compared to Harry Maguire all the time, and Brighton fans say, yeah, Lewis Dunk is miles better than Harry Maguire. I'm going to put Lewis Dunk to the side for a second. He didn't get picked, so I'm just going to forget him for just one moment and put my England cap on. I wish I had an England cap, but I don't. Harry Maguire, I am so happy to see him back in the squad. I don't know about you guys, but I was so happy to see him back playing because, as you say, Toby, he is such a presence in the box that even at the other end of the pitch, where he could probably score you a couple of headers in front of your goal, he's going to be defending that with his life and with his massive slab head. So yeah, I'm really, really delighted to see him back. Whether we play a back 3, a back 4, I'm not sure. But I think he works well in all of those. Yeah, that was my other question for you guys. What do you think? We're just going to touch on England a little bit more because obviously they're our team. Toby, what do you think is going to be our starting lineup or our formation? Because I know it's quite tough to predict our lineup, but yeah, what do you think Southgate should set up as?
Is this what I would have or what I think Southgate will do?
Go with either.
Well, what I think Southgate will do is not change it up too much. I think it will be 4 at the back. I think it will be... it looked like he favoured Trippier at left back with the Croatia game because I think that was arguably our biggest group stage game against the toughest opposition. So I think it will probably be Pickford, Trippier, Maguire, Stones, Walker. Midfield, I think it will be Rice and Phillips. In attack, I think it will be Sterling, Kane. Mount's still out, isn't he?
I think he can play the game, but obviously he hasn't been training because he's been isolating. So I don't think he'll get selected based on that.
Yeah, then I'll go without him for now. I think he starts Grealish, and I think he starts Saka, because both of them in that last game were immense.
Yeah, I agree. I think as well if Saka starts, and obviously you say you've gone with that defence of Walker, Maguire, Stones, and Trippier. I feel like in defence we can transition into a back five with Walker dropping into centre back and Saka going at right wing back. So yeah, I think that's great fluidity, and one of the biggest pros of this England team is how versatile some of our players are. That we can change formation in transition. We can have 4 up front and then 5 at the back suddenly. I think it's great to have that ability in a team to be able to change that, because teams won't be able to work you out if you keep chopping and changing. But does that come with some sort of vulnerability because the players aren't really sure on where they should be at what point? Ryan, what do you think is going to be the England lineup?
I think half the team at this point writes itself. I think I think he'll go with Mings and Maguire if he's got sense, because I think they're the best at dealing with the aerial threat which Germany will provide. However, what do I think Southgate will do? I think he'll play John Stones, because I'd understand it, because then you'd have a player who's good in the air predominantly, and Stones, whose main asset when defending is with his feet, having played under Guardiola. So it'll either be a choice of having 2 players who do the same thing, or one who does something and the other does something else. I think fullbacks, he'll go Walker and Trippier. I don't see him changing that up too much. Midfield, this is where it gets interesting, because Jordan Henderson obviously made an appearance the other night against the Czech Republic, had a goal disallowed. Does that signal that he's fit enough to be in the team? Because I think if you're looking at a full-strength England team, you've got to have him in terms of ability. But at the same time, I don't think he'll drop Rice and Phillips quite yet. Certainly not Phillips, the way he's played, so those 2 will start. Then it gets interesting, because will he start Grealish? He took him off after, 70 minutes the other night? Is that a sign he's planning to start him? Is that a sign that he's staying dropped? I don't know. But I think Saka should stay in the lineup given how he played. I'd like to see Grealish start again. And I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Would you start Sterling? Because yes, he's got 2 goals this tournament, but in terms of what he actually contributes elsewhere, he scores. It takes 2 seconds in his goals to score them. For the other 89 minutes, does he contribute enough to justify staying in for those 2 goals, or can you bring in someone who can do what he does and do it more effectively as well?
Toby, I'll let you take that one away, mate. You look like you've got something burning away there.
I think people underestimate Raheem Sterling's impact on a game. I know there's that clip of him that went viral where he comes to the corner of the box in the Scotland game and he doesn't pass it to Reece James and he's moving it about. But how long did he hold the ball without losing it there? He could do that on the wing, get past the man, get a cross in, even if it's drilled low across the box. Not only that, he's got the goals to back him this tournament. I understand a goal only takes 2 seconds, but 2 seconds in 90 minutes could get us 1 goal instead of 0, which could get us through the tournament. Personally, I'd keep Sterling. He looks like he's right up for it. He looks like he's motivated. You've always got the option, if he's playing whack in the first half, you've always got the option of Sancho on the bench, although it doesn't look like he's favoured at the moment. But there's always options, and I think you've got to start him. You've got to show the trust in him, because he's got the belief in the England squad. He's got the belief in himself at the moment.
Yeah, spot on, Toby. I think with Sterling, I think he's our Marmite player. I think he's a little bit of a scapegoat as well, that people can just go to him because they expect so much of Raheem Sterling. You see how he plays when he's on top form at Manchester City. England fans can only wish that he plays that way for England. But yeah, I think you back Sterling, especially at Wembley. He looks like he loves playing there. You saw his heartfelt interview after the Croatia game, saying he grew up not even 10 minutes away from Wembley. He feels like he's playing in his back garden when he plays there. And yes, he maybe sometimes looks a little bit frustrating, where you think, right, give the ball. But as you say, Toby, he can hold the ball, and if players are making the right runs and the right movements, then there's no doubt that he can create or obviously exploit the space that other players are creating for him. So yeah, I think you start Sterling all day long. I think as well in this tournament, what Southgate has shown is that if players are really, really performing, i.e. Calvin Phillips, then they keep their place in the squad. And I really hope that applies for Bukayo Saka, because he was unbelievable against the Czech Republic. And as I said earlier, if he plays, he's so versatile that we can drop to a back five if needs be. And I think against Germany, especially if we're 1-0 up, we will need to revert to that formation for a little bit of solidarity. Just touching on Henderson, he's a fantastic player. If he's not starting, a fantastic player to bring off the bench to really shore that midfield up. If we need to hold on to a game. So, yeah, I think there's every chance that England can do this. I think we've got so much depth in our squad. And I think if we frustrate Germany like Hungary did, then we've got every chance of getting to the quarterfinals. So, yeah, come on, England. Let's do this. It's coming home, boys. It's coming home. Ryan, no words from you, mate. Toby, it's coming home.
It's coming home. It absolutely is. I mean, we wouldn't trust Ryan's predictions anyway after Burnley and 10th.
Absolutely not. Oh man, as I say, he's off. He's gone. He's walking out. No.
It's unbelievable.
He's doing a Piers Morgan. Right, on to the last game of the. He's just sworn at me. On to the last game of the last 16. We've got the fight of the blue and yellow flags. Sweden versus Ukraine. Ryan, Sweden have looked brilliant. Do you agree?
I do agree, and I think this will be the tightest game of the what's it called? So I've completely forgotten. Oh, the knockout stages. Do excuse that.
There you go.
I just think that this is probably the game that's going to receive the least media attention, because it doesn't sort of involve a top nation or a home nation. I think these are two very good sides that, I don't know, this is for me. I know I said earlier Belgium was the hardest to predict, but I at least came up with something for that. This, I'm looking at the sheet I've got of predictions and there's nothing there, because I just couldn't predict it. So what I am going to say is I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Ukraine, because I just think that there's something about Ukraine I just like. I think they've got the likes of Yarmolenko, Zinchenko. I just think there's something about them I just quite like. And Shevchenko as manager, who I think's adapted seamlessly to being in the back room. So, again, this is for me the hardest game to predict, even harder than Portugal's match. And I'm going to go 2-1 to Ukraine.
Cool. Toby, do you agree? Do you see Ukraine pulling off a result against Sweden?
Well, as you said, I think Sweden have looked really good this tournament. I'm really impressed by Isak, the striker. Although he doesn't really know who Gary Lineker is, I do like him as a player at least. But I've also been really impressed with Ukraine. You can never count them out, is what I've seen. They look like they can score a goal out of nothing, which is the sort of element you need in a tournament like this. The same way Hungary did in their group. I thought, they can score a goal out of nothing, but it's a shame they're gone. However, Sweden have looked so good. I'm sitting here on my Malm desk, right next to my Kallax units, with my fantastic Snapskins. all from IKEA. Everything around me is Swedish, and I'm screaming Sweden 2-0 this game.
Brilliant. Toby, can you stop looking at my notes? You need to stop it, mate. It's just not on. Um, I've gone for a Sweden 2-0 win as well. Yeah, and Sweden for me have been my surprise package this year. And I say surprise package because I didn't know much about them at all. I didn't know who their starting 11 was. I didn't know who their star player was. So I've really enjoyed watching them. I feel like they're a breath of fresh air coming into this tournament. They play with complete confidence. They're utterly fearless, and that's why I think they're going to go into a knockout stage and keep a clean sheet and come through 2-0 winners. Ukraine, yeah, they have been pretty decent. I can't claim to know much about them. I haven't watched many of their games, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, I've just gone for a Sweden 2-0 win on that one. So yeah, two of us saying the IKEA gods and one of us saying Ukraine. So who knows what's going to happen there. Obviously, if you lot listening to this disagree, please do let us know. Put it in the comments, at us on Twitter. Tell us we're deluded. Tell us we're geniuses. We love that. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting, guys. We've got 8 games coming up. It's going to be full of drama, full of controversial decisions, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm really excited. And anything else to add, guys? Toby?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very excited as well. I think, I've just booked a week off work because I knew this would be a great week of football. I'll be watching almost every game, probably down the pub, probably with a beer in hand. So I can't say I'll be conscious for much of it, but I'm really excited to this Germany game. I mean, it will be sweet, sweet, sweet revenge if we can just get one over on them. And I think back to the 2010 World Cup, and it makes me, it made me cry then. It almost makes me cry now thinking about it after what happened. But I firmly believe that this will be it. This will be our year.
Goal line technology, save us. Ryan, anything else to add, mate?
Well, I just feel like it was goal line technology in 2010. It's going to be VAR that screws us this time. But I'm excited. I think a lot of us, and I will include myself in this, came into this tournament thinking, oh, this is going to be slow, it's going to be sluggish, there hasn't been a rest period, the players aren't going to be fully up for it. I mean, the amount of own goals supports that, but I think I haven't seen one match so far where I've thought this is boring, I'm going to tune out. Every match has been fast-paced, it's been interesting, apart from England. It's been really good to watch, and so I think this has been a much better tournament than a lot of us were expecting, and so now we're in the point where there's no room for error, and teams have to step it up, knowing that they can't come back in 3 days' time and try again. I think we're now going to see levels step up once more, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I can only echo what you guys have said. It's going to be really exciting. Sorry, Toby, you've got one more point to make.
I do have one more point. Ryan, if we get through this round, you're going to be more positive for the next one.
It all depends on how we play. As I say, I'm one of those people, I'll give credit where it's due. Against Croatia, we were tactically brilliant. The last 2 games, I haven't enjoyed so much. If we go out there and we pick a team that can manage to null Germany's attack, and we pick players that can create, and we play decent football, then I will hold my hands up. I will say, I'm very happy with what we've done here, if we can keep that going. What frustrates me about Southgate is against Croatia, we saw ourselves playing attacking football. We saw us playing good football. Defensively, we were sound. It was everything we know this team can be. Then to translate that to Scotland, where it was everything we hate seeing about England in terms of how he set up and how he played. It's the lack of consistency that gets me. If we play like we did against Croatia, I'll be down the pub without a shirt on doing the whole ole ole ole. If we play like we did against Scotland, I'm going to bury my head in...
Record that and we'll get that all over social media, mate. You're gonna go viral. You'll be a star. Um,
You'll
yeah.
kill you'll kill the podcast before it begins if you do that.
I see a lot of similarities in England to Brighton, where we'll play against rubbish teams and we'll play absolutely crap. We play against a better team, or I won't say a team to our level, because whenever Brighton play a team to their level, we always lose. But if, in England's case, a team to our level who have so much quality, I feel like we can open that game up a little bit more, and a little bit more space. Toby, again, you got something to say?
I had one more thing to add as well, actually, because I'm interested to see both of your thoughts on it, because I backed Southgate all the way to the wall, do you know what I mean? And today it's been announced that it's looking like he's going to get a new contract until 2024, which I, for one, am delighted. But I'd be interested to hear both of your takes, because after that Scotland game, you both wanted him out.
Well, let's just wait until we see what happens against Germany, shall we? No, it's a tough one, because I react so emotionally to football. If he goes on and wins us this tournament, I will praise him until the cows come home, and kiss the ground that he walks on. I was the same with Graham Potter. I am the first person to stand up and say that I was wrong in an opinion, and if he proves me wrong, then great. After the Scotland game, obviously I was completely gutted. I was just thinking, if this England team play like this against Scotland, what are we going to be like against the bigger teams? But then, as I said earlier, when I look at it with a level head, I feel like we can probably step up against those bigger teams. So yeah, I'm a bit of a weird one when it comes to football and how I react. But yeah, I think it's just a case of whether he proves me wrong or not. I'm not 100% for Southgate, and except for when we lose, I'm not Southgate, get out and never manage my country again. Ryan, what do you think of Southgate's new contract?
Well, from what I've read, he was told before these Euros that whatever happened, his job was safe. And I think that's like going to an incompetent employee saying it doesn't matter if you shat yourself in your desk, go and eat the fish from the tank, and then go and slap every patron of the business. We're going to give you a new deal. I think telling a manager he's safe regardless of what happens is a recipe for disaster, because you're saying there's no motivation there to go and do well if you know you're in a job. And I think that there should never be any of this, oh, we're going to give him a new contract regardless. I think if we go out to Germany, then will I be, get him out immediately? No, I probably won't be. I'm not a fan of his, but I can at least respect what he's done at the moment. However, if then, I think you give him until 2022. It's only a year away at this point, and if we flop at that World Cup, he's got to go. Because what you're saying is if we go out the round of 16 here, and we flop at the next World Cup in whatever stage, go out group stages or round of 16, you're saying to him, right, then you've got another tournament. By then, it will have been, what was it? It would have been kind of, the semi-finals at the World Cup, I still say was very fluky. Then it would come to this, we'll have done poorly. Go to the next World Cup, do poorly. When do you call for an England manager with arguably the most talented squad that we've had in years and years and years? When do you draw the line and say, right, you can fail at this many major tournaments and he'll still give you a job? Because at this rate, by the time I get my free bus pass, he'll still be wheeling out Jordan Pickford on a basis. So I think you have to decide, we've got the most talented England squad that we have had in a long, long time. No one should be debating that. So how many chances do you give him if he fouls up here? Give him to the next World Cup, okay, that's next year. If he fouls up there, then how realistically can you say give him another contract? You're tied into that. I just think it's a bad idea at this point.
Yeah, the only thing that I can disagree with there, what you said, Ryan, was about the fluky route to the semi-finals. Toby, go for it, mate. You look.
I have a lot to say about that.
Okay, well, in which case, take the floor, mate. Take the floor.
I want to just pick the first part apart, which was when you say that this is the most talented England squad we've ever had, which I would kind of disagree. I would kind of disagree. With the era of Beckham, Lampard, Scholes, Rooney, you have all of these, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, you have all of these players. And I'm going to keep going. Let me keep going. And we had all of those players, and we still couldn't do any better than what we're doing with this squad. Gareth Southgate has got England playing like a team. This is down to Gareth Southgate. And I completely disagree with giving him the extra motivation of keeping his job. I think it's good that the FA shows some faith in him. He missed a penalty that cost England, and that has been over him his whole life. I recently watched something called The Boys of '96, where someone's getting all of the England players back together for a reunion, and he's gone around and spoken to almost every England player. It's from Sky Sports on their YouTube channel. I'd highly recommend it. And every player has said, Gareth Southgate is just football mad. He doesn't look it. He looks a little bit like a nerd, a little bit like a geek, but he is football mad. I think you give him the backing, you give him the belief, which he has never had before because of that penalty miss, and he takes it all the way home for us. I think with that belief, there's less pressure on him, which means that he knows that he can experiment and he might not get stuff right, but he's only human, and he knows that from his penalty miss. I think he's got this England team playing together like never before. The whole nation has come together like never, ever before. I think that Southgate keeps the job for the next 10 years if I could give it to him, because not winning a tournament is not a failure.
Guys, I'm gonna have to split you two up in a minute. I'm one of these fans that's so on the fence and I react emotionally. And both of you have made incredible points. I'm just gonna let Ryan, because as you were speaking, he looked like he was about to do another Piers Morgan on us. Ryan, what do you need to say?
I did not say that this was the most talented England squad ever. I said this is the most talented one we've had in years and years, because that golden generation of 2000, 2004, yeah. But I think if you're going back, this is more talented than 2016, 2014, 2012, 2010, 2008. I was only thinking that period, this is the most talented squad. I did not say ever. If you think I'm saying that having Harry Maguire instead of Bobby Moore or John Terry is a more talented squad, then I don't even know anymore. I would never say that. I've said some stupid things in my life. I predicted Burnley to finish bloody 10th, but I would not ever say that.
Yeah, I think that a slight, what's Toby Rooney? Well, yeah, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney's my favourite ever player, so I've got bags of things to say about him. But yeah, I think you've both made incredible points there. Obviously, I think Toby may have just slightly misheard what you said when you said about the best team ever. I do agree that it is the most talented team that we've had in the last maybe 8 years, I would say, in terms of full squad depth. Toby's still not sure, but we'll let him get on with it. But yeah, there's so many points to be made, and you guys have just made the podcast in the last 10 minutes. That rant alone is being clipped everywhere, guys. So yeah, I think I'm gonna break you guys up now, unless anyone else has got anything else to say. Speak now or forever hold your peace. No, nothing. Cool. Right.
Let's take it outside.
It looks like a lovely day. So yeah, I'll meet you. I'll meet you in Eastbourne, Ryan. Yeah. I'm speechless, guys. Completely speechless. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the tournament, and I can't wait for the next one, because if England get through, I'm sure there's going to be even more rants like this. So if you like passion and you like,
I will love it if we beat them. I will love it.
Absolutely. If you like passionate rants, then you've come to the right place. Subscribe if you're new. Follow us on Twitter, the Centre Spotcast. Again, I'm gonna have to get used to that. The Centre Spotcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, Bebo, the lot. Yeah, follow us. Habbo Hotel. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Yeah, Ryan, cheers, mate. Delighted to have you back on. Always dividing opinion. And Toby, cheers, mate. Enjoy the rest of the tournament. Cheers. Bye.